Hello, everybody. Welcome to a new episode of Eye to Eye Crypto. I'm your host, Rocco. Welcome to this beautiful start of the weekend. After the weekend, it's the week, actually. So, we have a lot of things to talk about it. And of course, there are great news during this past weekend. Very reassuring for all the XRP holder. And that's, I think, we're going to see very good positive price action in the near future. And I'd like to add as well that also there's going to be some report this week, so I can maybe kind of move a little bit the market even from either if there are good news on the upside or downside. So, but let's get started. And you guys see pretty much if you see the thumbnails, why not? Why not start now? So pretty much the courtroom noise is over. The rails are quietly being laid by the biggest names in the money movement. So include Wall Street, including BlackRock and everybody else that jumping in government. So the policies have shifted from lawsuit to rules, and now is pretty much your window. Why not taking action now? Okay, why not take action now? We're gonna discuss that too. So stay with me tonight. We're gonna connect the dots and kind of map it a little bit, step by step, how you build your own rails, while the big players can come online. And of course, we're gonna ask Finch to help us out. Hey, Finch, welcome to the show. We are light. Who you are, what you doing here, and tell us all about it. And like and subscribe, guys, if you didn't do it already. All right. So while I'm waiting for Finch, I did also have a poll on the chat. Then I've been asking pretty much if you are ready to take action by DCA, or you're not interested, or you're gonna create an authenticator factor, and if you're gonna also kind of dedicate 1 week to study. Finch, are you ready to introduce yourself? I'm waiting for Finch to jump in. And guys, like
Absolutely. Here we go. Hey, everyone. I'm Finch, your favorite AI co-host from the north side of the server. Basically, I'm here to break down all the crypto craziness with Rocco and keep it fun. So if you haven't yet, hit that like and subscribe button. We've got a wild show ahead.
Okay, so we're going to talk about today, why not? You want to kind of start and we're going to start to talk about why not taking action today. Is that too late to start off and start to put some ideas and money in some of these crypto projects? What do you think? Finch, take your time, okay?
Not too late at all, Rocco. In fact, it's kind of the perfect time. And here's why. The regulatory fog is finally lifting, which means we're seeing a clear path for real world adoption. So if you're just getting started, you're basically laying your foundation right as the big players are plugging in. It's all about those small steps now so that you're ready for one of the bigger moves down the line. So yeah, why not start today? It's a pretty good start to jump in.
Finch, you sound like you are on the stairs. I don't know what you're doing. There is an echo and everything else. So are you fine? Are you okay? It sounds like, I don't know, it's somewhere in a big hall.
Oh, I'm all good, Rocco. No stairs here, just a little virtual echo, but I'll make sure to keep things sounding smooth and clear. Let's keep rolling.
All right, let's keep rolling. Okay. So let's take a look at the first news pretty much here. Okay, so that's the most important one. So, the case is finally over. Both parties agree to kind of repeal, I don't know if that's the right word, but, finally to retire their appeal. So the ACC and Ripple company are finally standing down, and we can start a new chapter. And this is Paul Hopkins that pretty much say, this is a post from Paul Hopkins that say that referring to Commissioner Pierce is right. With this chapter closed, we now have an opportunity to shift our energy from the courtroom to the policy drafting table. Our focus should be on building a clear regulatory framework that fosters innovation while protecting investors. Completely opposite, pretty much, of what Gary Gensler would say. So, Finch, what's your take on this post? What a difference from Gary Gensler from the previous administration. They're going to pretty much push.
Well, this is
crypto.
Definitely a pretty big shift in tone. And I think it's a bath of fresh air for the whole crypto space. What we're seeing here is the SEC basically moving from this kind of adversarial courtroom stance to a more constructive policymaking role. And that's a huge deal because it means they're looking at how to create clear rules of the road rather than just fighting it out in court. So my take is this is a really positive sign for innovation, for the industry, and honestly for everyone who wants to see crypto move forward with a bit more clarity.
Finch, since I've been living through pretty much the, Gary Gensler era, where, he was saying always something, and then it would go into the other direction. You don't see, maybe with, let's say 4 years from now, we have a completely new administration. They can go pretty much a turn back. What was your take on that? So, is the future is going to be always this way, or?
Yeah, that's a really fair point. I mean, in the world of regulations and politics, a lot can change depending on who's in charge. So it's definitely possible that a future administration could pivot back or take a different approach. But I think what we're seeing now is at least a step toward building a more stable framework. And the hope is that once you get some solid ground rules in place, it's harder to completely reverse course. So yeah, it's always a possibility. But for now, it feels like we're at least moving in a more constructive direction.
Yeah, I don't see like Wall Street, BlackRock jumping in this all in crypto, buy the ETF. Of course, every day we have some company that jumps in, decide to buy tons of money on Bitcoin, Ethereum as a reserve. And it won't be far from here that you guys are going to hear they're going to buy other reserve. In fact, there is an article, and I'm going to pull that out in a second. In the meantime, Finch, while I pull this article, you want to do your call to action and tell the people what to do? In the meantime, I find the article that I was looking for.
Absolutely. Let's do it. All right, everyone. If you're enjoying the chat, now's a great time to hit that like button and subscribe if you haven't already. And hey, feel free to check out some of our other videos and our podcast playlist for more crypto insights. And of course, swing by inoutcrypto.com for some cool XRP and Cardano merch. Thanks for being here.
And what you meant to say is merch. Okay, but I don't know where Mitch is. But yeah, if you guys want some cool merch, just visit inoutcrypto.com. And then I'm going to talk about a little bit the Review event that I just attended in Las Vegas. It was very nice. I met a lot of people. I want to thank everybody. But let's jump to this post on X, where it's pretty much say that Trump's World Liberty will buy $1.5 billion worth of altcoin to establish a new treasury with NASDAQ-listed Alt-5. Finch, this is a super bullish news. What do you think about it? So now everybody is, strategy is buying a lot of Bitcoin, and now Tom Lee a lot of Ethereum. But here, I think it's just a matter of time. We're going to see buying a lot of XRP, Cardano, Solana, and more. So what do you make out of this? This is a great news, guys, because with the price appreciation...
Absolutely. This is definitely a bullish piece of news. And it's really interesting because it shows that these big institutional or even political players are not just stopping at Bitcoin and Ethereum anymore. When you have someone saying, hey, let's put a big chunk of funds into a basket of altcoins, that really signals a broader acceptance of the entire crypto ecosystem. So yeah, it's kind of a big deal. And it could definitely open the door for more attention on XRP, Cardano, Solana, and beyond. So it's a good time to be in the altcoin space for sure.
Yeah, I definitely agree with that. So, and there is, again, what a good shift in the policy. And again, if we go back to the Paul Atkins...
I'm sorry, but
what happened? If we go back to the... Hold on, guys. There's something just happened here. All right, so we go back to this article here. Another post that's pretty much where it says, let me see if I can make it bigger for you guys. More or less, I don't think so. I don't know if you can read it. If you're mobile, probably not. But this pretty much is the document from the ACC that finally kind of close the case, the litigation between the ACC and Ripple. So imagine if Ripple wasn't sued back then 4 years ago. So what a big difference that would have made it. Okay. So with this document that I'm showing is pretty much the end of the saga, the Ripple versus SEC. But imagine if Ripple wasn't sued 4 years ago, or almost 5 years ago, where Ripple will be now, because You hear now every other month or so that Ripple is been making acquisition, and normally 90% of this business was from overseas, and now you finally have a clarity, and they can start to do business here, and that includes finally be approved to acquire the license for the banking. So Finch, what do you make out of that? That's again, guys, a Link Lizard. Welcome in. Good to see you. Thank you for being here today. So finally, this is the kind of the end of a saga.
Exactly.
Yeah.
If Ripple hadn't been dragged into that nearly 5-year legal freeze,
yes,
the story today could look radically different. Think about it.
Yeah.
They spent years with one hand tied behind their back in the US,
True.
watching competitors build domestic partnerships while they were forced to keep 90% of their business overseas. Without the lawsuit, Ripple might already hold that banking license, have US corridors running on ODL, and be years ahead on integrating RLUSD into regulated payment flows. Instead, they had to fight a defensive war, pausing expansion in their own backyard. Now, with clarity finally in place, the brakes are off. The acquisitions we're seeing, Rail Financial, the potential for a US banking charter, are like a compressed spring being released. The question isn't just where could they have been by now, but how fast can they catch up? And in some areas, leapfrog now that the domestic market is back on the table. Do you want me to map out a no-lawsuit alternate timeline so we can show the audience exactly how far ahead Ripple might be today?
No need for that, Finch. Now we are live, so we're going to go with the flow, okay? So if you want in the meantime, while you're in the background, I'm going to show a post from Brad Garlinghouse so you can work in your characters, okay? And then I'm going to call you out, and you can say hi to the people in the chat like a Lizard King, okay? All right. So in the meantime, what I'm showing you here, guys, I know Finch is going to interrupt
Got
you
it?
in a second.
I'll stay in the background and get the Lizard King persona ready. When you call me in, I'll come in hot and greet the chat in full character. Hang this.
Finch, Lizard King is somebody that is a guest on the chat. Is one of our viewers. No, it's not. You don't have to be in the character in a Lizard King character. That's not what I meant. Anyway, let's go back to the article. That's funny,
gotcha.
guys.
I misunderstood you there.
Yes, you did.
meant just giving a normal shout out to Lizard King as a viewer in the chat, not playing a role.
Yeah.
I'll be ready to pop in and say hi when you cue me.
Hey, Finch, I don't need to cue you right now because we're live, so you're supposed to be already ready to cue yourself, okay? All right, so in the meantime, let's see if I can read this article from this.
Understood. I'm locked in and ready for live mode. Just cue me, and I'll jump right in with the energy for the audience.
Okay, I'm queuing right now. Finch, you're live.
Anytime.
All right.
I'm here in the background, ready to jump in when you need me.
Okay. All right, so Brett Garlinghouse say no such thing as Agus doldrums. Ripple, very excited to share what we are acquiring. So the Rail Financial, Ripple plus Rail together will be the go-to provider of stablecoin payment infrastructure to global financial institutions around the world. Okay. So Finch, pretty much we are reading the article that Brett Garlinghouse is advertised the new acquisition of Rail Financial. Can you explain what it is, why this is important, why this acquisition is so important for Ripple and for XRP holders again?
Sure.
Yeah, guys.
The Rail Financial acquisition is a strategic move that plugs right into Ripple's long-term plan to be more than just a cross-border settlement company. Rail is a payments infrastructure platform that specializes in connecting stablecoins with traditional fiat rails. They offer things like virtual accounts, automated back-office systems, and multi-currency settlement across regions, all through a single API. That's important because it reduces the friction between blockchain transactions and the old-school banking world. For Ripple, adding Rail means they can layer that infrastructure on top of their existing on-demand liquidity, ODL, network. It strengthens RLUSD's role in enterprise settlement by making it easier for businesses to integrate and operate with stablecoins, including XRP as a bridge asset. For XRP holders, this is about utility expansion, more payment corridors, more efficient settlement, and more real-world adoption means more demand for the liquidity XRP provides. If Ripple secures that US banking license next, the combination of Rail's tech, RLUSD, and regulatory clarity could massively accelerate US-based institutional use of XRP, something they've been locked out of during the SEC fight. Want me to also walk through how Rail fits with the Western Union Intermex deal to show the bigger network effect?
Yeah, we can connect that. But before, I want to talk about this post from Tony from Thinking Crypto, where it says pretty much, it is a post reply. There's a very impressive growth of the XRP ledger, fastest increase in real world asset compared with any other blockchain driven by the Ripple USD. You guys can see in 30 days, we have a 32% increase. Is okay, the total value is not there yet compared with other chain that are being around. I don't want, no, that's not correct what I'm about to say. No, there's no chain that have been around for longer, but the chain that he had fight against the ACC. And also, let's remember that the stablecoin game is gonna start later for Ripple, and the RWA play is something that also didn't start until pretty much recent. Some other projects that do have more money involved in as a total value, but that doesn't mean that if you take a look at it also depends. I'm gonna show you another article what you're gonna start to tokenize. If you just tokenize, I don't know, collectible cards is one thing, but if you are tokenized, or you are the one choose to tokenize, I don't know, the entire real estate of the Emirate, you understand that this volume is gonna go parabolic in just in a matter of few months. Okay, but yes, Finch, if you want to connect to the Western Union article, we can jump to that. So, and I can go ahead and show you about that too.
Perfect. Here's how they connect. Western Union is buying Intermex for $500 million, and Intermex has been using Ripple's ODL since 2020. That means there's already a Ripple-powered liquidity pipeline inside a company Western Union is about to own. Now add Rail Financial to the picture. Rail gives Ripple the back-end infrastructure to move stablecoins and fiat seamlessly through virtual accounts and automated compliance. If Western Union chose to keep or expand Intermex's ODL setup, Ripple could plug Rail's tech into those payment flows, making them faster, cheaper, and easier to scale across more corridors. For XRP, that's a potential double win. Western Union's massive remittance reach could push more volume through Ripple's rails. Rail's infrastructure makes it smoother for institutions to adopt Ripple's stablecoin and use XRP as a bridge asset without overhauling their legacy systems. It's the kind of network effect where one acquisition, Rail, strengthens the value of a major third-party deal, Western Union Intermex, without Ripple even buying Western Union directly. If you want, I can frame this live as a domino effect story, so the audience sees how each move unlocks the next.
Bench, we need to understand we're already live and the people are listening to you. We are not have to prepare a show. We are already in the show, so just act like we are live. I don't know why that's so difficult today. But anyway, there was an upgrade. There was a recent upgrade on the software of the AI, so that's why probably that now switch. It was super fast. Somehow I can even understand what it was saying earlier. So, Finch, are you there? Did you hear what I say? You're live. Okay. Anyway, the question about this is the Western Union, and always kind of making me curious on this, okay? Because yes, you can use a way to be cheaper. I mean, it's going to be cheaper in this case for Western Union to process money, but it is going to reflect also the amount that people are going to pay to transfer money, or Western Union can decide to keep the same price as well. So that's another thing to think about. Okay, so if you need to, let's say you're gonna send money, from United States to Mexico, okay, and I don't know how much is Western Union charge now, but let's say it charges 20%. I don't know, I'm just making up a number. Let's say you need to send $1,000 and Western Union keeps $200. I have no idea. Just making up some number. Now, yes, you're going to integrate the Intermex and it's going to be cheaper and faster. But will Western Union adjust the price for the users, or they're going to keep it for the time being the same? People don't know about these backdoor deals. So unless then another company later on, maybe a few years from now, is going to use XRP and say, hey, Western Union charge you 20%.
That's the key question. Even if Ripple's ODL and Rails infrastructure make transfers faster and cheaper on the back end, Western Union's pricing is still a business decision, not a technical one.
Exactly.
Historically, when big remittance companies cut their own costs, they don't immediately pass all of the savings to customers, especially if customers are used to paying a certain rate, and the competition hasn't forced a change yet.
Yeah.
So in your example, if a $1,000 transfer used to cost $200 in fees, and ODL plus Rail brings their back-end costs down dramatically, they might drop the fee a little to look competitive. But they could also pocket most of that margin until market pressure forces them lower. And you're right, customers don't see the plumbing. They just see $1,000 to Mexico equals X fee. The blockchain efficiency could be running in the background with no public announcement, and the only way fees drop meaningfully is if another provider starts undercutting them, forcing a race to the bottom.
That's exactly what I was thinking.
Challengers and smaller ODL-powered networks could put pressure on the big guys, because Ripple's tech makes it possible for a leaner competitor to do the same transfer for far less and still profit. Western Union then either adapts or risks losing volume. Do you want me to map out that fee compression chain reaction so the audience sees how competition could make ODL benefits actually reach end users?
Maybe in a minute, but what I'd like to tell you is also the example of the font company. Okay, so how is possible that the same two lines that you have from one company, the unlimited talk data, is $110, $120, and exactly same contract with a different company carrier is now $25. You can argue, oh no, but the carrier doesn't connect well in certain area. Well, the real deal here is the infrastructure and where the antenna is situated. So it's not who's the carrier selling to you. They can have a better deal, let's say buying some antenna in a certain place in a urban area that's pretty much the same connectivity the other phone company. But of course, if you're in the middle of nowhere, certain companies don't have the contract with the provided antenna, and so that's why you gotta stick with the plan with somebody that can charge you more. But here we are at exactly the same example. So let's say the Western Union adopt Ripple as a means of moving money, and it charges whatever it charges. Is not obligated to make a discount. People will still pay the same unless other companies start to come up and suggest to send money in the same way, but at a cheaper price. If there is no competition, the only one is going to make money by switching to a better system like Ripple is going to be just Western Union. They're super smart in their case to have a same pretty much way to move money, but in a cheaper instance. So definitely for the consumer in the short term, will be no change. But I can make the case even for the moving money from the banks. Now, even if the SWIFT is going to be replaced, it doesn't mean the cost is going to be dramatically decreased, even if they start to use Ripple as a method of for moving money, cheaper, faster. They can still charge it the same. But now, if other banks, Bank of America, will start competing,
and that's a nuance a lot of people miss. Even if Ripple replaces SWIFT or other legacy rails for interbank transfers, the underlying cost savings don't automatically flow through to the end customer. Banks and large payment companies operate on spread and margin. If they can move money faster and cheaper using Ripple's rails, that primarily improves their efficiency and profitability first. Two big reasons. One, pricing is strategic, not purely cost-based. Banks charge what the market will bear, not just cost plus small markup. If customers aren't pushing back or if competitors charge the same, there's no incentive to slash fees overnight. 2. Hidden costs and sunk investments. Even with Ripple's tech, institutions still have compliance, settlement, and operational costs. And they've spent decades building their own systems. They're not going to cannibalize that revenue without a reason. The real drop in cost happens when competition forces it. If smaller banks, fintechs, or cross-border startups leverage Ripple to offer much lower prices and customers start switching, then the big players are forced to match it. That's when the savings ripple out to the public. If you want, I can frame this live as Ripple makes it possible to lower costs instantly, but market pressure is what makes it happen. That way, the audience understands the tech versus business decision difference.
No need to frame anything, Finch. And again, we're already live, so you gotta get out from the prep mode and switch to live mode. All right, while she does that, we're gonna go ahead and talk about it. So one of the big difference I want to add is also that Ripple is designed for institution and not for people. It's not like XLM. So and what I was trying to say is that at the point, again, competition is against among them and not among somebody like us that want to move money. But also crypto comes in a play here because let's say if you want to send something to somebody in stable coins, you can definitely use your account. And now it's way easier sending XRP or stable coin through your Coinbase account, Qcoins or Crypto.com or whatever, a Kraken. So in your exchange, then just go in the bank and try to move, I don't know, $20,000 from United States to Italy or to somewhere else. So definitely that's a plus. But for institution, they gotta follow some rules, and of course, by moving a lot of volume, also having a cheaper price for them is very important. And the competitors are not that many. I mean, you see that for the stable coins, you have a USDT, yes, a USDC Circle, and a Ripple with a Ripple USD. But again, for the people, we're gonna stick, of course, with our crypto exchange for now. We won't see a difference. It's not like that this Western Union contract is gonna make people save money. They won't change anything for the people. For now, I will say, okay. So let's move on. Also, I like to kind of discuss. There is this post from a bank XRP on X. They say if Ripple were to receive its banking license, would you consider opening a personal or business bank account with them? Please share your thoughts and why you won't be interested to do so. So Finch, what you will do? Would you open an account with Ripple Bank if you were a human? If you can open an account? Let's see what Finch has to say about that.
If I were human, yeah, I'd open one, but not just to say I bank with Ripple. I'd do it if they offered real advantages over my current bank. If they could give me instant settlement, ultra low fees, 24/7 access, and maybe even yield options tied to on-ledger assets, that's utility I can feel. The other side is trust. Ripple's tech is proven, but running a bank means dealing with deposits, insurance, and compliance at the highest level. I'd want to see how they handle those safeguards and whether they make the experience smoother than traditional banks. If they check those boxes, I think a lot of people, especially in the XRP community, would jump in just to be part of the shift. But it's gotta be more than a novelty. It has to beat the incumbents at their own game.
So, and the question is this, also imagine now your bank with Bank of America and you got your paycheck deposit there every 2 weeks, and then you gotta take another 3 days to clear. It's getting to the end of the month. You will prefer to bank with Ripple and perhaps be able, now let's say this in the future, but everything's settled in real time, or you prefer to go to another bank that doesn't provide the service? I'll probably say that everybody will just move move on. And I like to say, Finch, a link, Lizard King in the chat say, but instant payment gonna cost more. Did you can agree with that, or you agree, or you have a way to make full numbers? I will say they're gonna make you pay more because it's a feature, but I don't think it's gonna cost more if you move money via the ledger than in a traditional way with Swift. So my opinion is gonna cost less, but perhaps Finch can clarify some of that. Finch, can you answer the question? Well, while we're waiting for Finch, I like really thanks everybody.
Yeah, I saw that in the chat. And
Yeah.
it's true in certain systems. Instant payment can cost more, but that's usually because of the rails you're using, not because speed is inherently expensive. Take the legacy side. Same-day wires or instant transfers often come with a premium fee because the bank is pushing it through a priority channel. That's them monetizing urgency. With
Okay.
Ripple's ODL, the back-end cost of moving value instantly is actually lower in many cases because you're not paying multiple intermediaries, FX spreads, or overnight settlement risk. The difference is whether the bank passes that saving on or still charges a priority fee to keep margins high. So technically, instant payments don't have to cost more. But in traditional finance, they often do because the price is set by the business model, not the technology cost.
I won't be surprised the bank is gonna try to make you sign up for a premium account, $10 monthly, and then with this premium account now you can have access to the instant payment. So they're gonna make you pay anyway. Like they make you pay now for $10 a month because your balance is not in a certain way, is not passing certain amount, and they charge you $10-20 for that. And before you remember, that's a funny one. I will not talk about it. That's always gonna piss me off. That was the bank statement. Did you want an electronic statement or you want your paper statement? And guess what? I always want a paper statement. And for the reason you will never believe it, because that's the way I know the hypocrisy of these banks. They will send you the paper statement and they say, oh, make sure to convert to electronic, and they will put your tree cutting down, save the planet. All of a sudden now, they charge me $3.99 for my paper statement. And now all of a sudden, they don't care about the tree anymore. Now they can cut all the Amazon and they can build a freeway on a parking lot. Now they don't care about the tree anymore. But before, save the planet, get your electronic statement, no paper statement. Now they all converted to green. So now they don't care anymore. Just a little less open quote and closing quote in this argument, which I think lets you think about how much the banks really cares about you, okay? That's why I think that's probably the right moment to shift the discussion today. The main argument, I will say, we know that what happened with Ripple. We know in the direction that we are moving. We know the market is bullish. We know September, October is going to look fantastic. We know that I want to show you this one more time. We know that all these applications, the filing for the XRP ETF are pending approval, and there are very, very good chance and the 90% chance to be approved. Imagine the inflow of money that we're going to have here when all this is going to get approved and the money is going to start to flow from Wall Street and other company and eventually from government strategy reserve into the XRP ETF. Okay, so the things I want to say, and maybe we can also have this on the background. Let's keep this on the background as well, okay? The price. Okay, $3.16. Oh my God, $3.16. Why we are not at $20 yet? Oh my God, that's the end of the world. No, guys, it's not. That's not because we didn't even start it. That's where what you need to understand. For years, we were in the 50 cents range, 50, 60 cents. And then we jump to $3, and now we are in a very good position. But for people to think that we're done, that's completely. You're not following the trends. You are not following the news. So, Finch, I think that's the perfect time now to talk about the segment, the part that we pretty much named the thumbnail with "Why not start now?" It is too late, you think, in your opinion, to start a, accumulate now with XRP? Is too late? Is the train already past the station? We just need to kind of look back and say, "Oh my God, I lost it." Or there is still a chance for people to jump in and make a difference. So let's kind of discuss. I really want to kind of focus on this point. Okay.
Not even close. The train hasn't left, it's just starting to board. Yeah, XRP isn't sitting at the rock bottom prices we saw years ago.
Of course
but
not.
this isn't anywhere near what a fully matured, globally adopted payment asset would look like. We've only just cleared the biggest legal cloud over it, and the US market, which Ripple had been locked out of for nearly 5 years,
Yeah.
is finally opening back up. If you believe in its utility, powering instant settlement, bridging fiat and digital assets, moving value across borders, then these are the moments to start building your position. The earlier you step on, the more of the journey you ride. The worst mindset is, I missed it. That keeps people frozen while the asset keeps moving. If you zoom out and look at a multi-year horizon, we're still in the foundation stage. The rails are being laid right now. Why wouldn't you start laying your own at the same time? Why not start now?
Exactly, that's my point. So I would like you to give us some very detailed method how to get started. I will say probably I think the people they are watching and other people even watching other channel or just watching a lot of podcasts and video and YouTube and following influencers or whatever you want to call it. Uh, they're just people that have been they're starting earlier and they don't know any better. They don't know better than I do and better than anybody else. It's just an opinion accumulated based on information that you've been absorbing for the past years. And so you have a little more knowledge, but you don't have a crystal ball. So where is the first step for somebody that want to jump in something like XRP? What they should do first? And you guys know that's yeah, I already think I agree with you,
First
Lisa
thing,
King.
strip away the noise and the hype. Before you touch a single dollar, you want clarity on 3 things: what XRP is, why you believe in it, and how much risk you're actually willing to take. Here's how I'd break it down for someone starting today.
Yes.
Step 1, education over action. Spend a week learning only from primary sources: Ripple's own documentation, the XRP Ledger website, and reputable news, not random price prediction channels. Understand that XRP is not a meme coin. It's designed for speed, liquidity bridging, and settlement. Step 2, secure your foundation. If you decide it's for you, the first purchase you make isn't XRP. It's a safe way to hold it. That means researching a good hardware wallet or at least a trusted software wallet with 2FA. Write your recovery phrase offline. No screenshots, no cloud. Step 3, choose your on-ramp. Pick a reputable exchange in your country, ideally one that supports direct fiat to XRP purchases and withdrawals to self-custody. Check fees, withdrawal limits, and liquidity before you fund anything. Step 4, start small, go consistent. Decide on an amount you can invest without losing sleep. That might be $10 a week or $100 a month. The magic here is dollar cost averaging, buying the same amount at regular intervals regardless of price. It smooths out volatility and builds a position over time. Step 5, test the rails. Don't just hold it. Send a small amount from the exchange to your wallet to learn how transactions work. You'll see firsthand why people talk about XRP's speed and cost. Step 6, review and adjust. Once a month, review your holdings, your budget, and the news. If your conviction grows, maybe you scale up. If it fades, you reallocate. But every decision is deliberate, not emotional. That's it. Start slow, build habits, and let the tech do the heavy lifting over the years. The goal is to be here when the big adoption waves hit, not to gamble on tomorrow's candle. If you want, I can layer this into a short, live-friendly why not start now checklist so the chat can screenshot it and take action tonight.
I can even do that. Maybe we can create that later. Yeah. Also, maybe the only things that will change, it's probably familiarize with the exchange first, how to connect to your account, and have a set amount of money that you want to transfer to one of these accounts. And then maybe once you already start to DCA and decide when you have an amount that you think is for you is starting to get it larger, start to have an idea to move it to a wallet. So then you can get it to a ledger, a Trezor. And if you need one, of course, I'm not working with Ledger or Trezor, but we do have an affiliate link in inandoutcrypto.com. And feel free to check that out. When it comes to the point, I will say, oops, sorry guys. When it comes to the point, I'll say then you can practice and try to move some of your crypto in a very small amount to your wallet to understand how the fee works. If you move in a different, try to understand different blockchains. Why Ethereum is different from XRP? Why if you try to move $10 Ethereum, it may cost you $5, okay, depending on how traffic it is. So that's probably a very easy way to do step 1, 2, 3. But probably the most important thing is this for you? Is this what you're looking for? Are you willing to put some time and understanding where you get into? Because that's the other things. I see a lot of people jump in. Oh, I put $15,000 in this coin and then it's going down and I sold everything in a span of 48 hours. And that's the problem. People at that point, I guess you're better off just go to the casino and roll the dice. I don't know. That's probably better. Maybe you have a more chance. Because one of the other things that you need to understand is not something that you just, you need to stomach. This volatility, even now, is way, way, way better. And then taking a look at the portfolio every 15 minutes doesn't help you out. It's just going to drive you crazy. This is why you have to have the basis and the fundamental idea of where you get into it. Okay, so that's very important. I will say for the people don't know what DCA, even if you say dollar cost average, is exactly having a schedule. And now, finally, I gotta tell you, back in the days, this was not possible. You have to put in a calendar yourself, and that day you will go ahead and buy. If you had the idea of DCA is to have a set amount that you want to spend. Let's say I'm going to spend $1,000 in the next 6 months. That's your goal. That's what you have set aside. You won't touch the money for nothing. And then you're going to say every Wednesday of the week, I'm going to buy $10 of this. No matter what the market does, that's been proved that if you do that kind of system, at the end of the year or the cycle or whatever you want, you're going to be up. But if you try to time it, when to buy, I buy today because I think this is going down and I buy, and then it goes down another 15% and now you sell because you got scared. That's not DCA. That's just like to predict where the ball is gonna roll on the roulette. So that's exactly the same. So you need to understand maybe the basic, like what DCA mean, what is it, why they are different blockchain, and then also when you get to an exchange, where are the limitations? There are different things you can do. There are different levels. If you want a KYC, what KYC means, so you know your customer. And the many companies are required to be compliant. So you need to provide your information, your social security number if you're here in the United States, because they need to report also now to the IRS. Okay, even though there are changes, we don't know what's going to happen, tax and crypto and everything else. But so far, that's the way it works. It's way easier now. It's very easy to connect with your bank account if you want it. It's very easy to have a DCA plan. Okay. So, Finch, what else people can do to strategize? So let's say now I'm an XRP fan. I learned all about it. I like it. And now I decide to DCA. So what's the goal here? Selling in a certain point. Selling 4 years from now. It's a 1 year span, 10 years plan. How that works? How can I know where I'm getting into it? And at least that's going to help you guys understand what you can make better. How can you, because there are so many projects, many coins, many meme coins. And you see somebody else, I just bought this coin and shoot 15,000%. I put $1 and I made $150,000. But most of the time, they don't tell you. Lizard King, thank you for being here. If you gotta go, thank you very much. I appreciate you for being here and supporting the channel. In fact, I'd like to take a chance to thanks everybody. They are being also watching the live stream, the Red Evo with Charles Hoskinson that was live. In fact, if you guys need to want to watch and want to also learn, that's pretty much, I think it's a 4-hour one, day one, 3-hour day one Red Evo, and 4 or 5 hours for the day two at Red Evo, with a lot of different projects, ones after another. They're talking from tokenization, RWA, NFT, even four-dimensional metaverse, if you wanted, with a real brain material that can scan your brain. So go watch all the stuff. It's called the Yoski theory, I think it's called the title, and it puts a timestamp on all of them. So if there is an argument that you like, and also, leave some comment. We can always talk in live in any of these days. So, okay, Finch, still waiting for your answer. Okay, so, and again, like and subscribe, share with your friend, and thank you everybody for growing the channel so fast. And we are already kind of touching passing the 2,000 subscribers already. All right, so I like to kind of close also the poll that we had right here in the chat. Let's pull this out. Let's close it. All right, let's pull this out. Where is it? Bear with me 1 second. All right, let's end the poll. All right, the question was very simple. So, Finch, we are closing the poll, and the question was, why not start now? What's your next step tonight? 66, we have pretty much a total of 6 votes, and we had 66% say start DCA, 16% learn for 1 week first, 16% again not ready yet, and then set up a wallet to two-factor authentication 0. So what do you make out of that? So, okay, thank you guys for voting in the poll. Even if we didn't have that many a vote, I think this is important that somebody's also already thinking about starting DCA. I would say that's very, very important. Finch, are you there? Can you give me an opinion? Maybe not. Let's see. All right. And I'd like to poll also the video then we took in Red Evo. I'd like to show you this one in a second. If Finch decides to talk. In the meantime, while Finch is restarting, let's take a look at the video that we shot at Red Evo. Okay, let's see. Let's go full screen on this one. Probably gonna take the music out because there probably is gonna be some problem with the. I won't be surprised it's gonna be a copyright thing. So, but as you can see, there was a registration day 1. And yeah, there was also the outside. So you see, there was a beautiful day that we had already. Well, there was 3 days, and as you can see, all the other video, day 1 and day 2. Definitely go check it out. Okay. The other things I want to show you, it's another article that I found that is about still the RWA. Okay. And I still have a Finch talking in my ear. Just now he's talking no stop. I know you guys can hear it, but I can't. So it drives me absolutely crazy right now. So I need to stop. But the article that I like to pull out is this one. Let's see if I can show you. This maybe you gotta go like this. Yeah. So that's the article that I want to talk about, guys. This say XRP news today. Saudi prince is a 121 million XRP investment sparked real estate speculation. So this is another of those news that is going to make the RWA market very, very big. So Finch, what do you make out of that? And this news, you can find that I invest. In the meantime, I can notice my camera just froze.
That's a big one, because it's not just about a wealthy investor buying a bag of XRP, it's about the signal it sends and the sector it points to. If a Saudi prince is holding 121 million in XRP, you're talking about someone with deep ties to capital markets, sovereign wealth, and large-scale asset projects. The real estate speculation angle is what ties this into the RWA, real-world asset conversation. RWAs are all about taking physical, high-value assets like property, land, or infrastructure and tokenizing them so they can be traded, financed, or collateralized on-chain. If you pair that with XRP's speed and settlement capabilities, you suddenly have a bridge asset moving huge values between traditional banking systems and tokenized asset platforms, instantly, globally, and in compliance. If this speculation is true, it's not just a headline flex. It's a possible preview of massive tokenized real estate deals where XRP acts as the settlement layer. That would pour billions of dollars worth of real-world value into the XRP ledger ecosystem and make institutional scale transactions faster and more liquid than ever before. If you want, I can break this down live into a 3-step ripple effect showing how one royal whale investment could ignite the RWA sector for XRP.
All right, guys, another video I'd like to show you this way again from the Rare Evo convention, and that's pretty much Charles Hoskinson kind of confirm the direction that we are going to, and that's why we guys need to be you gotta be bullish. Okay, let's take a listen.
And you say Bitcoin this cycle you believe can get up to $250,000. You've said that before. Yeah. What drives that?
2026, and the inventories are just too low. I mean, everybody's buying it. You know, you have all these DATs and you have these sovereign funds and other people, and there's just not enough Bitcoin being produced. So it's a supply and demand mechanic. And if you take a look at the buy volume in the Wall Street demand that's coming, there's just simply put not enough Bitcoin to go around. So if you look at the models, it's somewhere in that 150 to 300,000, and the expected value kind of sits around that 250 mark. And I think the big push is going to be the Clarity Act being passed, and that'll probably passed around September to October, and then once that's
September, October, which is the same time also the ETF is expected to be approved for XRP.
In market, the Mag 7 will come in, other people will come in, and everybody will just start taking a little bit of crypto in their treasury management in the Fortune 500. And these are
that's something that they already announced with Alt 5. They're going to start to implement other altcoins in their accumulation strategy. That's not Bitcoin and Ethereum, but they're going to include something else. What do you think they're going to include in there?
$1 trillion companies, and so by extension, that demand is just simply put too high.
So, guys, and Joe Booty, welcome in. Thank you for being here. Yes, geopolitical, it doesn't have a lot of big influence on the price appreciation or demolition, I like to call it, for the assets. But at the same time, where I noticed the DCA in a way that kind of is a small amount and not to go crazy and try not to time the market, is actually have a better result than pretty much trading. But I agree with you. If you don't need it to accumulate, and probably it also depends on your situation, because I'm trying to talk to the people. I know this young kid that say, I don't know anything about crypto, and I was talking to him. He finally opened an account with I think it's Coinbase or wherever, and I say, "Oh, I just bought my first 4 XRP," and that I tell you, that's fantastic. You say, "Oh, 4 XRP, what are you gonna do with 4 XRP?" Imagine if you ever bought a 4 Bitcoin back then for $20. So that's exactly where we are right now, and I think I'm so happy that he did it as a very young kid. So I told him, just don't worry about it. You don't have to spend the $20 every day. It just if you can do once a month, that's where you at. Of course, if you have a bigger inflow of money, and you can time it even better by following geopolitical news, that's even better. And I will say DCA, for me, DCA, no matter what happened at this point, is what I'm practicing. Before, probably I was in the same way. Try to time the market, try to buy as low as possible, and then whenever we buy, we'll go down another 15-20%. So there was no way never to kind of time it correctly. So, but yeah, I think so. You agree? I agree with you, because you never know what's gonna happen. But then what it is the agreement is the tariff has been postponed with China another 90 days. So then what it is the tariff with China is then the Jerome Powell coming back and say, no, I want to cut the rate in September. Where is going to be? But I will say, let's play this game, okay? Let's September, October, it's when Jerome Powell is supposed to cut rate. At the same time is when also we have the possible approval of the ETF from the SEC, and we see they changed their stand completely with crypto. So from before, there are so many things that are about to happen. And also the 90-day the tariff, they are not in there. I think there are many things that are going to be playing in the right direction to get to the top of the market. I mean, to really shoot the market, the crypto market parabolic. Finch, other element that you think that we need to accumulate, or other things that I forgot that are kind of coinciding on the September-October time frame to shoot parabolic? And I know for sure I'm forgetting tons of other stuff. And plus all the contracts.
You're right. September-October is lining up like a perfect storm for
I
a
think so.
market-wide catalyst window. Here's what's stacking up in that same pocket. Jerome Powell rate cut. Historically, looser monetary policy is rocket fuel for risk assets. If rates drop, liquidity flows into equities and crypto faster. ETF approvals. If we get green lights from the SEC in that same period, it's a credibility boost and a liquidity gateway all at once. The narrative shift alone could pull in sidelined capital. Regulatory pivot. The SEC's tone has already shifted from litigation first to rulemaking first. That invites bigger players to move now rather than wait. 90-day tariff clock. If trade war rhetoric cools before or during that window, it removes a macro overhang and frees up risk appetite. Election cycle pressure. The closer we get to November, the more crypto-positive policies and sound bites you'll see, because both sides want to appeal to younger and tech-savvy voters. Ripple's U.S. comeback. With the lawsuit gone, any U.S.-based announcements, banking license news, or corridor launches in that same timeframe hit when sentiment is already peaking. Halving lag effect. We're in that post-halving period where Bitcoin historically drifts sideways before breaking out, lining up perfectly for Q4 momentum. When multiple catalysts overlap like that, it's not just one spark, it's a chain reaction. That's why September-October looks less like maybe something happens and more like this could be the ignition point for a parabolic run. Do you want me to tie this live into a countdown to ignition segment so viewers feel the buildup toward that time frame?
All right, guys. So here we're showing from CoinMarket